In this episode, the Lake Superior Circle Tour takes a moment to visit a significant example of the American dream in Duluth and the state of Minnesota. Glensheen, located at 3300 London Road, was originally situated on 22 acres along the shores of Lake Superior. The grand estate of Chester Congdon, an iron ore mining magnate from the late 19th century, and his wife Clara Congdon. It is an English Jacobean revival-style country estate built between 1905 and 1908 at a cost in those days of $850,000. To duplicate it today with the same eccentric quality would cost an estimated $100 million. Designed by Clarence Johnston, Minnesota state architect in 1901, it is 27,000 square feet with 39 rooms filled with dozens of incredibly beautiful artistic designs. One such example is this pierced oak panel, part of the grand stairway carved in a leather strapwork design from a single piece of wood. Most of the hand-carved wood throughout Glensheen is made of white oak, mahogany, and cypress fumed with ammonia, which added color and sealed the grain. The fine interior designs and furnishings were contracted to the William French Company of Minneapolis. Mr. French, in close consultation with the Congdons, in particular with Clara, a trained artist herself, took a year and a half to design, build, and acquire objects from around the world. The interior styles of late Victorian, arts and crafts, Federal, and Art Nouveau are tastefully balanced throughout the mansion. The cost was so overwhelming that Chester Congdon invested in the William French Company in order to ease the process. French subcontracted John S. Bradstreet, a Minneapolis designer who applied an arts and crafts design to some rooms and created the Green Sunroom or Breakfast Room, one of the more favored rooms by the Congdons. It faced the morning sun with inviting views of the formal garden and Lake Superior. The unique green tiles were made by the Rockwood Pottery Company. Each tile had its own serial number and at today's cost would be near $150 a piece. It was said that it took 33 railroad boxcars to deliver all the furnishings to Glensheen. In the early years, the formal garden took on an ornate classical appearance with flowers grown from Glensheen's own greenhouses. The first fountain at Glensheen was simply 4 jets arcing to the center of the pool, but was later changed in 1913 by Duluth's George Thrana, depicting Japanese-inspired fish he carved from Italian marble. The carriage house was also a residence for the coachman, chauffeur, and houseman. In the early 1900s, there was a transition between carriages and cars. Glensheen had both. It was also written that the Congdons owned an electric car, steered by a tiller. The carriage house also included stables for the horses and cows for milk and cheese. The gardener's cottage housed 3 head gardeners. Their duties were a major undertaking at Glensheen and included stoking furnaces by hand, which burned 65 tons of coal each year until automated in 1927. The boathouse had a large L-shaped private commercial-style concrete pier designed for visiting yachts and to house the Hesperia, the Congdons' 55-foot yacht. Unfortunately, the Hesperia was lost in a fire in 1916 and was never replaced. In 1969, the Congdon family willed Glensheen to the University of Minnesota, and it has been operated as a historic house museum since 1979, with a great many original treasures and furniture still in place. Chester Congdon was truly one of the finest examples of the American dream. He came from meager beginnings, but with relentless self-determination, acquired a high education, was admitted to the bar in Minnesota, and at a chance meeting impressed and befriended Henry Oliver, a steel producer from Pittsburgh. Oliver hired Congdon to oversee his iron ore purchases in Minnesota. Through shrewd investments in helping form the Oliver Mining Company, which was the largest iron ore producer in Minnesota's Mesabi Iron Range, Chester Congdon became a tycoon. The Congdon philosophy was that business leaders had an obligation to support local communities and society in order to ensure a healthy economy. Chester Congdon was a philanthropist and involved in numerous community and state improvement projects. His generosity was often quiet and without publicity. On June 30th, 2016, PBS produced a beautiful and comprehensive documentary titled Glensheen and the Congdon Legacy. It is a must-see prior to visiting this great chapter in Minnesota's history. The Glensheen Official Guide to Duluth's historic Congdon Estate was photographed by Dennis O'Hara and the text written by Tony Dirtskins. There are over 200 photographs with comprehensive historical details of the entire estate. Sales of this book directly support the Glensheen Historic Estate.